Right, everyone, it is time to talk about whether or not it's time to Kraken or you're going to leave your roster slacking. Yeah, it's going to be a quick review of the 6 characters coming out this month and which one need high stars and high red stars and are going to make significant improvements to your roster. Let's get right into it. So at the top of the list is probably, believe it or not, is probably Iceman. And the reason why we're going to talk about Iceman is because he has some really unique abilities that'll probably enhance your experience in a lot of game modes. We're going to talk about something specific. It's his passive here. So we're going to talk about the fact that he's applying negative 5% armor. He can revive, but more importantly, in raids, he is lowering damage by an additional 30%. So if you see all the abilities here, it comes up with 30%. So this is stacks on top of offense down, and the way that it looks like it at the very least, if it's part of the raid slider, he's going to be part of that meta going forward. And again, if you're a new character and you get a hold of him, the fact that he's a controller, even though he doesn't have the best stats, he's actually pretty overall decent. We're talking about probably the next two, and believe it or not, like as far as high red stars and stars, let's talk about two characters that I think are coming to the game, and then we're going to talk about why two others we had a little bit of problem with evaluating the past couple of days. But we're going to talk about the Red Guardian, and the Red Guardian is actually going to be a pretty significant tank coming to the game. The reason is because of his passive. His passive is like a Drax dream. Remember the old school Drax, when you have that initial taunt? It's going to be helpful in a lot of game modes. Could be helpful in Dark Dimension 4. But the energy generation, I'm not quite sure. But he's a skill character, and the game's been missing that. And more importantly, a lot of additional game modes that might even be good for some PvP. So stay tuned. He will need high stars and high red stars. Probably somebody that will be crackening on him, mainly because we have the same glorious beard. That being said, another character we're going to talk about that's actually pretty interesting is Elena Belova. Now, she has some crazy stats. She does a lot of damage. She does a lot of stuff for her team. So she's definitely going to be probably the middle of that list. But she's so close to where we thought about Kitty Pryde, that this patch is chock full of decent characters. And when I say decent, the only problem we have is there isn't a clear team. Obviously, you can slot them on X-Men, but now that we've got the Uncanny and Astonishing, it's going to be a little bit different in that regard. So she is someone who does some good things. Well, we're talking more about these guys now. Longshot and Shatterstar. Now, Shatterstar's in the game. You guys will see that I did not crack it on him, but I did happen to get decent red stars on him. I got 5 red. I haven't gone cracking on him. Now, he is a event character. However, he is going to be nuts if you have 6 red, 6-star, or higher. Now, the problem with that is, where do they fit into the story right now? Where do they fit into your rosters? What are they going to do for you? Well, currently he's probably going to wind up being slotted onto a Blitz squad as a fill-in character, because I really can't build them onto my Young Avengers, which is a high-level team. But if you have the ability to put them at this level and actually have an additional power, he actually does some really, really cool abilities when he's partnered right now with the Hero Brawler team. A lot of sustain helps their damage overall. And then we also have Longshot. Now, Longshot actually is probably another phenomenal character. Does a pretty decent amount of damage. These guys have passive heals. So, really cool in that regard. The problem is, what are you using them for? I don't know how to recommend crackening on a character that is really just probably feels to me like the old Cable and Deadpool. Now, they were a lot of fun to play with, but they really didn't have a place in our roster. We used them to slot them into Young Avenger, or well, back then it was Hero Brawlers, and that's where they stayed for a while. Now, these are unique because they actually enhance a lot of your team, because they do the on self or ally crit. This is something that will probably find some unique builds for him when we bring him into the game, he is going to excel with the ISO Raider. So it's very, very interesting. So in no particular order, I'm joking, in the exact order that I recommend going for him, okay? It'll be Iceman, the Red Guardian, Elena Belova, Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat, Longshot, and then Shatterstar. That is the priority for the patch. I think those are the characters that do the most use for your roster right away. I think when X Factor hopefully comes into focus and we can talk about it, hopefully they'll be farmable by then. But it really depends. It's just with the fact that it's 2 months, we really just don't have any idea what use we'll have for them. And so, really quickly, just kind of recap something for you. When we evaluate these, we evaluate where you can use them right away, where they're theorized to use when their full team is there, and do we know who their full team is? We took those into account because a lot of these characters aren't on a full team this patch. The only one that really is there is the Skilletary, and so the Red Guardian Elena Belova got a really high level of evaluation because they're going to give you a team that can potentially beat 3 of the current war defense metas and potentially more. And so that makes them extremely valuable for everyone. The fact that they also have some ability to use outside of potentially raids and some other circumstances makes them very attractive kits. And the fact that they actually have power creep stats, which they have higher damage, higher health, and higher stats overall than characters that have been in the game for a while, even with the rework. The Red Guardian is better than Captain America with exception of energy, and I know that sounds non-patriotic, but I'm just saying that from a perspective, he does have a pretty solid kit. Dropping taunt, then healing. Those are things that all make you want to throw better red stars on him. So the same thing with Elena Belova. She does a ton of damage, has to have decent focus, and really they kind of go hand in hand. So they kind of moved up the list together, basically to help enhance your roster. And so when I say Kraken, the thing about it is I don't want it to say that it has to be 6 red or higher. The idea is they're worthy of investment and they get better as you invest in them. And so that is something that we talk to when we talk about that specifically, is there's certain characters that when they're promoted either through red stars or through gold stars, their stat benefit goes up quite a big deal. And usually the characters have a high percentage on their base attacks. We'll talk about something. So when we look at this really quickly, we're gonna look at characters like Das Vidania, pretty high damage. The extra bonus when they have when she's in stealth. So that is a big difference. So the ones that really were really hard for us to evaluate were Longshot and Shatterstar, because we really wanted them to be great. We wanted to find a way we could use them, and together they'll probably make some teams better. But the drawback is they don't have a team of their own. And I like the idea of this squad. I actually do think that Longshot is a phenomenal character. I think these guys are a lot of fun, but I still don't know exactly how to use them because I really want to get my hands on them and kind of play and see if I can insert them into certain teams and get some really cool results for you guys. So remember, I do things so you guys don't have to. I'm going to be crackening a lot more than I really wanted to this month. The holidays are upon us, so it's going to be a tight year under the tree. I'll be unwrapping a Longshot, an Iceman, a Red Guardian, Elena Belova, and we'll have to see how I feel about Shadowcat going forward. So that's it for that. Remember, guys, MS Festivus is coming soon. More details. Remember, random acts of kindness. Be kind to each other. It is tough out there. The game feels the real-time arena feels frustrating because you're trying to do your objectives or you're trying to get your knockouts, and those seem to be in conflict with each other. But just be kind to each other. We'll figure it out. It'll get a lot better going forward. Remember, don't make the mistake of quitting the game over the battle pass. This stuff will get fixed, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll be signing out. So Shadowcat is Kitty Pride, by the way. If you guys don't know, I call her Shadowcat. We're on, we use our code names when we talk to each other. That's how that works. Okay. See you later.